Once you reach level 20 in this game, you can unlock some incredible stratagems and weapons, which can turn you into an absolute beast. Now, I've unlocked quite a few of them and been messing around with some real different loadouts, but I thought, let's make a video of basically demonstrating what I think is my best loadout. So yeah, let's get into it. So number one on the list, primary weapon, the SG25 Breaker. I think this is going to be on pretty much everyone's list. The damage output is just incredible, and you can just clean everything up with it. It's a decent rate of fire. It has semi and auto. I typically use it on the auto function because it's, especially when you get the little ones, like the little bugs, it's easier to control the recoil and just put them down one shot to save the extra ammo for the bigger ones. And this gun can absolutely rip through the ammo. This weapon is really effective at short range. It's just devastating at short range, but it's also really good at the mid-range as well, surprisingly, considering it is a shotgun, which is why I typically take this over any other primary weapon. Just to be able to lay down the immense and intense fire rate of, even when, like I said, even in single fire mode, you can just clear them out in front of you to give you that breathing room that you need to fall back, to call in stratagems, to call in your teammates, and just to basically recapture of what you're trying to achieve because it can just get absolutely mental in this game. So I really recommend the Breaker. I think it's on page 4 and it's really easy to get to. My next weapon on here is secondary, is the P19 Redeemer. It's basically an automatic pistol. It has a really high fire rate, and I typically use it very much for close quarters because it has a bit of a spread and a kick on it. You can just really just put them down, and it's, like I said, the rate of fire just gives you that moment of pause to just put them down, breathe, fall back, recover, reload your primary weapon. It's a great secondary. I use it. I don't even use any other one. As soon as I unlocked this was my primary secondary. The only limitation of the gun is really small clip size, and that is made even worse by the really high rate of fire. So use it sparingly. Like I said, I just use it really for close combat. But it, at range, it also can help support, especially if you're in a team function and you've got no primary, to just put the enemy down and to give that breathing space while you again call in stratagems or call in the teammates that have died. The gun's a real solid performer. It can put everything down at real close range, apart from the charges, etc. So yeah, stick it on, use it. Next is the railgun stratagem. Once you get this is an absolute game changer. It has 2 fire modes, safe and unsafe. Safe is good. Unsafe is unreal. You can overheat the gun, essentially. If you overheat it too much, it's going to blow you up. But you're able to gauge, the more and more you use it, you can gauge how long you can hold the fire button down. And once 3 or 4 of you get this in a squad, and this is on Helldivers, what you're seeing now, you can just beam them in the face and just take the Bile Titans out, and they're not even going to be an issue anymore. You just keep shooting, fall back, and I think it's about maybe 6 to 10 shots if you can keep shooting them in the mouth. The great thing about the gun is it staggers them. So you see on the charger here, you can hit it and it will stagger them back. Ideally, if your aim is really good, and sometimes my aim isn't when I'm panicking, is you shoot the legs on the charger where the weak spot is. 2 shots to take the armor off, basically 1 shot to put it down. It's a 3-shot weapon on a charger. It's an incredibly powerful weapon. Like I said, unsafe mode, use it at your own discretion. It can be frustrating if you're focusing on other things and you're holding the trigger down to aim, and all of a sudden you've just blown your own arms off and you're dead, because it will kill you. There's no other way around it. It just blows up and it kills you. Only has a 20-round magazine, and when you call in a resupply, you only get 10 rounds per resupply box that you pick up. So you're going to be using a couple of them, and you can go through the ammo relatively quickly. It's only a single shot weapon, so every time you shoot, you're going to have to reload. But that doesn't take away from how good this weapon really is. It is an absolute beast of a weapon. If anything, it's too overpowered. Like I said, you get in a squad of 3 or 4 people and you can just take down chargers and Bile Titans like they are nothing. Like they are literally nothing. You just beam them, put them down, and they're done. I typically use it sometimes to take out the armored bugs and also the automatons. It's really effective against the automatons. But basically anything elite that you're facing, anything boss-wise or elite, you're going to want to take the railgun and just beam them and put them down. Fantastic weapon. Honestly, one of the best in the game. I can't rate it enough. That with the breaker, it's such a decent pairing. So that's the railgun. Unlock it, use it, thank me later. Next decent stratagem is the shield backpack. I was a little bit dubious about putting this in here because I feel that when you take this, it's taking away some of your other stratagems, but it is an absolute lifesaver. On the higher difficulties, this is what means that you're able to move in and around the enemy, taking that damage and not actually dying. It just gives you so much more flexibility, especially when you pair it with light armor. That gives you that increased stamina and that increased speed. You can just zip around people, stand still, calling in stratagems like some crazy person on Helldive difficulty. The shield will absorb 3 or 4 hits from the smaller ones, and usually between 1 or 2 from the larger bugs, and the same for the automatons. It can deflect rockets. It can deflect the bile that they spit, and the licking tongues and the claws. It's such a lifesaver. As soon as you get it, you're gonna thank me again. It's just such a great stratagem to use. Really recommend pairing it with light armor. Next one is my favorite, the Eagle 500 kilo bomb. This is by far the most versatile stratagem in the game. It's an area of effect weapon. It's got a very large radius on the detonation. It's also able to basically impact through enemy. So chargers, Bile Titans, the larger automatons, you just drop this through them if you're good enough to call the stratagem in like that, and it will just detonate inside them. And that in itself is such a rewarding thing to see when the bomb goes straight through them and just detonates in midair. The cooldown on it is relatively short as well, especially when you start upgrading the modules on your ship to reduce the Eagle downtime, the recharge time, and to give you the extra drops per one. You could just be throwing this down all the time. Dropships, if you time it right, you get it right underneath a dropship. The automatons land, you just boom, detonate it, they're dead. Bile Titans, if you get it when they're walking across it, it will just stick into the side of them, detonate, boom, they're down. Same with chargers. It's a one-shot kill on a charger. And especially at the high difficulty, they can become very troublesome because there's also so many more of them. Recently, me and my friends went up against 8 chargers at once, and it was difficult. But once you start peeling them off and you start being able to move really quickly with the shield pack and the light armor, clearing through the enemies with the SG Breaker, this is where this bomb just comes into its own. And visually, it's just incredible. Given the fact that this game is built on such an old engine, the visuals of it's so atmospheric to see that bomb drop. You feel like you're in a war zone with just seeing it come in. One thing to note though is with any stratagem is if you throw them in midair and the enemy jumps into it, it will get stuck to them. And a couple of times, like you've just seen then, I nearly got killed by it. But nevertheless, one of the most strongest ones in the game. It's great against small enemies in packs. It's great against bug breaches, drop ships, and defensive areas you're working in, falling back and just sticking it through a Bile Titan. Boom, so rewarding. Next on the list is the Orb Cannon Strike. This is a single shot stratagem which automatically targets the most lethal enemy, I think is the right way to say this. So if there's a charger close by, it will go for the charger, but it will also look for the Broodlord or the Brood Commander. I think Broodlord's from StarCraft 2. Through the Brood Commander, and it's just one-shot kill, really short lead time on the stratagem. You throw it down, it looks at them, it just boom, hits them. When you get the higher difficulties, it's not going to kill them one shot, so just bear that in mind, but nevertheless, a great one to have. So there we have it, my favourite weapons and stratagems to use once I've got to around level 20 to turn you into that absolute beast that you want to be in Helldivers 2. So hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. You know, do you use different weapons? Am I missing something? Have I not covered it in too much detail? Until next time, guys. Peace.